Hi guys, happy Friday. We're going to get into our last lesson of the week. We're talking about goods and services today. Sorry, the distribution of goods and services. Okay, we've already talked about the difference between goods and services, but today we're just talking about like how do we get that? Okay, what is distribution is the first big question we have. And this just means to spread the product throughout the marketplace. So wherever you're selling, we have to spread that out. It's all produced in one place or in centralized locations, and then it is transported and distributed out. Okay. The whole goal here is that so a large amount of people can buy this good and use this good. You have to get that in their hands. Ways the goods can be transported: planes, trains, vehicles, boats. Okay. Also now technology. So like if you buy a file online, it can be distributed online. Also, the amount of wealth, resources, and access to those are in each area. That is also distribution. So are things evenly distributed? So is the money evenly distributed? Are the resources even distributed, or the access? So, for example, is our apples. If there's a lot of businesses in the U.S. that produce apples, are those resources evenly spread out, or are they just located in Ohio and not available in California? That would also be distribution. We talk a lot about distribution of wealth and income. Because it's not necessarily even. Okay, when we look at this, we're looking at the way in which wealth and income in a nation are divided among the population. So, for example, there's a small amount of people who hold the majority of the wealth in the United States, while the larger amount of the people don't hold on all of the money. Okay, or we can look at this as a way in which wealth and income of the world are divided among nations. So we live in a very rich nation. Okay, we've talked about southern Sudan and Ethiopia a lot this year when we read A Long Walk to Water. The wealth is not evenly distributed there. So, like in the United States, we have a lot more money. Okay, gross national income, or the GNI, is just it kind of gives us a rough estimate or measure of the annual national income per person. So the average income, how much do we make? In the United States, we make a lot more than most countries. Transportation is a key factor in distribution. The United States covers about 3,000 miles from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, 3,000 square miles. The act of getting from one place to another is transportation. This could be getting a person or a good somewhere. For example, getting a person to their job, or getting coffee from Ohio or to Ohio from Colombia, where they produce most coffee. Oh, thank goodness for that too, right? How do we transport goods? The main types of transportation in the U.S. are going to be planes, trains, boats, or ships, and vehicles, trucks. What do we use to transport the most goods? Trucks and semis is the biggest in the United States. They account for the most transportation of goods. Whenever we drive anywhere, we see semis. They're everywhere, right? That's where all our goods come from. Trains are we also use them. Sometimes we use a combination. Pipelines are third because they transport a lot of oil and natural gas, but they don't transport anything other. Like you can't put like a bushel of apples in a pipeline. Okay, and it doesn't work like that. It's not like the bank. You know how you can like send the carrier up the tube. It's not like that. Pipelines are only for oil and natural gas. We also use a lot of cargo planes and cargo ships. Okay, the big one though is trucks and semis. The U.S. does have somebody that oversees all of this. They're called our transportation secretary. Our current transportation secretary is Pete Buttigieg. I never could say his name right, and I apologize. He actually ran for president in 2020. He oversees the planning and support of the nation's land, air, and sea-based travel system. So he is helping moderate the trains, the planes, the public transportation. He helps maintain roads. He oversees all of that. That position was started in 1966. It's about a $17 billion budget every year, and there's almost 60,000 employees for the transportation department. As of right now, he was appointed by our president. This is a position in the cabinet that is appointed by each president. We're going to call this the U.S. Department of Transportation. They call it U.S. DOT. In Ohio, our state department at this level is called ODOT, Ohio Department of Transportation. Their job is to ensure safe, fast, efficient, accessible transportation in the U.S. They're going to do a lot of things. They fix roads, they improve public transportation, they regulate the transport of goods, they make sure that that it's not dangerous. So for example, when you're transporting things like oil or natural gas, those are very flammable. So this is the department that oversees that to make sure it's safe. There are state and local branches. We also have like Pataskala, like a road crew basically who helps improve our roads. We have some public transportation in Columbus. You might have heard of the COTA bus system. The whole goal of these transportation departments is to advance and support the nation's transportation, whether that is car transportation, plane transportation, train transportation, okay, all of it. There is a video that I'm going to post on Buzz. Make sure you also did your daily geography and your show it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know.